Have you ever tried to manage a huge project with just a bunch of text files or spreadsheets? Imagine trying to track thousands of student records. You've got one file in the library for books, another in the accounts office for fees, and a third one with the teachers for grades. It turns into a total nightmare, right? You get duplicate data, inconsistencies, just pure chaos. Well, this is the exact problem that a database management system, or DBMS, was built to solve. It's the tool that brings order to all of that chaos. So look, over here on the left, you see what I mean. That's the messy office. It's what happens when you use a simple file system. Different people have different versions of the same data. One file says a student lives in city A, another says city B. It's confusing, and honestly, you can't trust any of it. But then on the right, you see the solution. With a central system, everyone is looking at the same, single, consistent source of truth. And that, right there, is the whole point of a DBMS, moving from total chaos to absolute clarity. So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to tackle that data chaos head-on and really understand what a DBMS is. Then, we'll dive into the relational model, which is kind of the blueprint for most modern databases. After that, we'll learn about the core building blocks, entities, and relationships. And finally, we'll see how it all comes together when we draw ER diagrams. All right, let's start right at the beginning. What exactly are these tools that bring so much order to our digital lives? First up, let's define the database itself. And the easiest way to think about it is as a special kind of container. Now, this isn't just a simple folder on your computer. This container is intelligently designed to store, organize, and manage huge amounts of related data, making it super easy to find exactly what you need right when you need it. Okay, so if the database is the container, then the database management system, or DBMS, is the powerful set of tools you use to manage everything inside of it. It's the software that acts as your interface, letting you add new data, look at what's already there, update it, or even delete it. This visual shows a really crucial rule. You can't just reach into the container yourself. A user makes a request, and the DBMS software acts like a mandatory gatekeeper. It processes that request, goes and gets the correct data file, and then hands it back. This controlled access is the absolute key to keeping everything orderly and secure. So why do we go through all this trouble? Well, because the benefits are huge. A DBMS cuts down on data redundancy, which means you're not storing the same piece of information, like a student's address, in 10 different places. And when you solve that, you automatically improve data consistency. Everyone sees the same correct address. It also allows for secure sharing, enforces rules for data quality, and provides critical backup and recovery options. It's a lifesaver. Now that we know why we need a DBMS, let's take a look at how it organizes the data inside. This is where database models come in. You can think of them as the internal blueprints for how all the information is structured. Before we got to today's standard, there were a couple of other ideas. The hierarchical model was super rigid, kind of like a family tree or a computer's file system. A file can only be in one folder, period. The network model was more flexible, more like a spider's web, allowing lots of connections, but man, it was incredibly complex to manage. And then came the absolute game changer, the relational model. The genius of it is its simplicity. It organizes all the data into really intuitive tables, just like the spreadsheets we all know and use, with rows for each record and columns for the details about it. This simple but powerful idea is why it completely dominates the database world today. So, you might be wondering, if everything's in separate tables, how do we connect them? This is where the magic happens, and it's all thanks to something called foreign keys. Just think of them as special puzzle pieces that link one table to another. A key from the customer's table, let's say, customer ID 123, fits perfectly into a spot in the orders table, locking them together so you can see exactly which customer placed which order. It's brilliant. Okay, so now we understand the basic structure. But what if you need to design a brand new database from scratch for a project? Let's break down the fundamental building blocks you'll need for that design process. First thing you have to do is identify your entities. And an entity is simply any distinct thing you want to store information about. It could be a person, like a student, a place, like a store, or a thing, like a product. These are basically the main nouns of your database. So once you have your entity, you need to describe it, right? And that's where attributes come in. They're just the properties or characteristics you want to store. So for our student entity, the attributes would be things like their name, their age, and their unique student ID. Simple as that.
Now, to find one specific student in a table of thousands, you need a perfectly unique identifier. And while several things might be unique, like an ID card number, an email, or a phone number, all of those are just candidate keys. You have to pick just one of them to be the official primary key, the one master key for that entire table.
Now, having entities is great, but the real power comes from connecting them together. A relationship is that logical link. It's the verb that connects our two entities, our nouns. For instance, a student enrolls in a course. That word, enrolls, that's the relationship that makes all the data meaningful. Relationships also have rules, and this concept is called cardinality. It basically defines how many of one thing can relate to another. It could be one-to-one, like one person has one passport. Or it could be one-to-many, like one professor teaches many students. Or even many-to-many, like many students can enroll in many different courses. So we have all the pieces of the puzzle now: entities, attributes, and relationships. But how do we put them all together to create a solid plan before we build anything? We do that by drawing something called an entity relationship diagram, or ER diagram. Honestly, this is the perfect way to think about it. The ER diagram is your architect's blueprint. It is a visual plan that shows every single entity, attribute, and relationship before you write even one line of code. The final database tables, well, they're like the steel frame of the building, constructed precisely from that plan. So how do we actually translate this blueprint into a real database? Well, it follows a really simple, logical set of rules. Each entity, which is a rectangle in the diagram, becomes its own table. Each attribute, the ovals, becomes a column in that table. The attribute that's underlined, that's your primary key. And finally, the relationships get built using those foreign keys we talked about, or sometimes by creating new tables altogether. Let's look at that many students take many courses problem again. So we've got a student table and a course table, but how do you link them? Easy. We create a new enrollment table right in the middle. Its only job is to connect the dots, matching a specific student ID with a specific course ID. It's the bridge that makes that whole complex relationship work. And to make it even easier for you, here's your quick revision cheat sheet. Just remember, the rectangle is for the entity, the noun. The diamond is for the relationship, the verb. The oval is for an attribute, a descriptive detail. And an underlined attribute, that's your unique primary key. Go ahead and screenshot this. It's absolutely perfect for studying. So, to wrap it all up, a DBMS is the software we use to organize data and defeat chaos and inconsistency. The modern way we do that is with the relational model, using simple linked tables. The design of any database is built on 3 core ideas: entities, attributes, and relationships. And the ER diagram is the essential visual blueprint you absolutely have to create before you start building. So now you understand the blueprint for a database. But how do you actually talk to it? What language do you use to ask it questions or tell it what to build? Well, that language is called SQL, and that's exactly what we're going to explore in our next explainer. I'll see you then.